This is a quick overview for anyone who just needs a close-up demonstration of what the entire piece looks like. So you can see that these interlock. There are some pieces that are longer, some pieces that are shorter, and they all just line up to be the exterior. The design on the bottom there has two longer scalloped edges and two slightly shorter scalloped edges, so they all touch at the corner, same with any of the additional top spots. That's how the base looks. This is how the top looks. And I just have it sit on top so that it's easier to maybe put in storage if needed. But you can absolutely glue it all together if for whatever reason you need to do that. If it's outside and you just need it more of a solid one piece. All right, so for this first portion, you need the base, these two edges with the cut ends, and these two edges with the cutouts, or I guess top base pieces. So this is all going to fit together like a puzzle piece, very similar to everything else you've done. You're going to take the base and those middle spots, I don't really know what to call everything, but those middle spots slide right into the cutouts on the edges. Again, just like a puzzle. So put some glue on the outer edges so that it all stays stuck together. And you can see where I put the glue there. Put the glue on the outer edges, and that way everything stays stuck together. You'll see it a little bit better here. And I'm sorry, I can only get my camera so high above this piece because it is just a larger piece in general. Again, you can see where I put the glue there to give you a better idea of where is potentially best for this. You're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Add the glue and slide these on like puzzle pieces. When you're completely done with this piece overall, you can put faux plants in the top. We have those flowers and birds that you can see in the background. And just a quick little side note for anyone who's going to get to the birds and flowers before I get videos up. The little cutouts that look like clouds are actually the bird's wings. Just as a little side note, totally unrelated to this main piece that we're putting together right now. Alright, so just keep putting the edges together. I had a little tissue paper there. I was working on the black tissue paper to try and keep my workspace cleaner, and it backfired and got stuck to my overall piece. But it's on the inside, so it's okay. Alright, so once that's done, set aside and move on to the stand. You're going to need the two long pieces, these scalloped edges. All of these pieces have the edging engraved, or however you'd say that, to kind of give you an idea of what piece goes where. So you're going to take the longer of those skinnier scalloped that I showed you. Altogether, there's, oh gosh, I think like 8 scalloped edges. So these are skinnier, and of the skinnier ones, you're going to take the 2 longer ones that are going to lay directly on top of the stand pieces like this. Go ahead and repeat that on the other one as well, and you can see what I mean by those little kind of guidelines that are engraved directly onto the wood. Next, you're going to need these 3 pieces. I don't know what to call everything, but again, those 3 pieces, and flip over your first half of the stand and you'll see those little cutouts. I went ahead and added a little bit more glue later on that I forgot to film there. So you can see where the wood touches the wood. You can just add glue to all of that to make it a little bit more sturdy. But overall, you just really need to make sure that you have the grooves really well glued. Next, you're going to take these 4 scalloped edges. Now, they're fatter than the previous ones, and 2 of them are longer than the other 2. Alright, so set aside your base, because we don't need that right now, and take the top box back over to your workstation. You're going to take one of the longer pieces, and I just lined it up to match the side I was working on. It doesn't really matter as long as you use one long side on the front, and then the other long side on the back. Okay, so it's not going to be long corner long, it's going to be long corner, like moving it around, short, move it around again, long. You'll see that here. again, the most important part is just making sure that you mirror it on both sides. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank goodness for video, right? Alright, so once you have it glued on the front, go ahead and rotate it all the way so that the piece you just glued is flat on your workstation. And then you take the next piece that matches that first one. So in this case, I used the longer ones first and glue it right there in the center. And that little point is a great guide point to know where it's correctly placed. So there will be a little hangover on both sides. All right, the next pieces you need are these sticks. Again, 4 of them are slightly longer than the other 4. So first, work with your slightly longer ones. And I did speed this up a little bit. So again, you're taking your longer ones first, and you're gonna glue one slightly above your scalloped edge and then another one at the very top. Flip it all the way around and do it again. Now you could have done this originally when you first glued the scallop, but I am trying my best to do this like step by step, item by item, to make it the easiest to follow along. I hope I am doing that justice so far. All right, you're gonna then take the two of the shorter ones and glue them on the edge. And I did it like that so that I could line them up really well, but I knew if I rotated it just 1 degree, it was gonna kind of offset everything, since I did have those scalloped edges still drying. But play around with it, you know, you'll probably find something that's a little bit easier for you to do work-wise. This is just what happened to work for me in the moment. Now, I did go downstairs and grab some chip clips to just really get everything flush against the main box piece, and hold it in place while it was drying because I was just moving things around too much. So chip clips are a great thing to have on hand for crafting. You could also use like the wooden clothespins. I have one of those in here as well. There's smaller crafting pins, but I really like these bag clips because they do get a wider they open further. Alright, I then started adding the slightly shorter pieces, and I did this while things were still wet just so that I could have literal wiggle room, right? I wanted to make sure that in case anything wasn't in the right spot, that I still had room and time to adjust, because the glue I use dries, it probably dries within like 5 minutes, 5 to 20 minutes, and it's totally set. So I do have some time to work with it, but not too much. All right, and you've already seen this photo. So before we use the top 2 pieces, the longer ones, now we're gonna use those shorter ones. So these are skinnier than the ones on the main box and slightly shorter than the ones we used previously. So as you can see, the first scallop pieces are glued onto that base, and then I put glue on the edges as seen here. You know, your eyes can understand it probably better than my voice can describe it at this moment for some reason. So go ahead and add those shorter edges there. I like to make sure that it was lined up with the other 2. That's why I kind of kept rotating it back and forth. Again, my camera could only get such a good angle on this piece, but when you're gluing it, you'll see you want to just match it up. Now, because there's not much for this piece to grab onto, I did need to leave it flat like that while it dried. The final piece that you need to glue on is this square. This is your topmost layer, I guess. It's the rim of your planted potter. So go ahead and add glue all the way around that top edge, and then just set your piece on top. Make sure it's all centered and where you'd like it, and then walk away and let it all dry. And that is it for your plant stand. Go ahead and post photos of your finished products. Let us know if you added the birds and the flowers to the center, or if you went and got some faux plants.